Another homecoming victory for the Toledo Rockets as they took care of Miami. As we welcome back in Mike Robinson. Of course, you see him on Game Day Nation. He's part of the Toledo Rocket Radio Network. And Mike Rob, the win against Miami, a 10-point win, but it was one of those odd games where that 10 points maybe was a little bit closer than what it really was because UT really was in control from the get-go.
Yeah, they took care of business on their homecoming on a big night. A lot of guys came back into town to celebrate that. Quinyon Mitchell for being a lockdown corner. He got the key to the city because he's the only one that can open it. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're a lockdown corner, do you need the key to the city? You're locking everything down anyways.
Hey, you give him the key, you let him have it. But you know what? The Rockets' defense was locked down as well. And another guy that I really like that's right from his own city is Braden Alls. You know, 3 picks on the season. One of the game-sealing picks I thought was huge. It kind of reminded me of the state championship with him taking it back. I thought he was going to score it, but just a smart kid right there just to be able to get down. But for the Rockets, you know, they really handled business on the offensive line. I thought they looked way better than they did last week. Sticking
on defense, Darius Alexander, a disruptive force on the defensive line, earns the MAC Defensive Player of the Week honors.
I mean, rightfully so. I mean, Darius Alexander is definitely an NFL draft pick. This is a guy that, you know, has the size, has the athleticism. There's a couple times I watch him on the play where he swim with one guy and push the other guy through, putting linemen back into the quarterback and making big plays, creating piles. He has all the makings of a great next-level defender.
Good news is Toledo won that game, and as we alluded to, it was a little bit closer than that, or the final score is maybe a little bit closer than what it really was. Part of that's because of the turnovers. Toledo really did not take care of the ball very well in the first half, and despite that, we're able to win. One of the things they need to improve on going forward.
Yeah, you know, ball security is everything you need. You know, the worst room is the room for improvement, and that's one thing that nobody wants to look at. So when you look at the room there and say, hey, can we get better here? Can we hold on to the ball? Can we keep that thing? You know, that's something that's going to get better as the season goes on. But what has gotten better is the defense. I mean, coming into the game with a +4 turnover margin, you know that we know how to get the ball right back into the hands. So playing complementary football has been great for the Rockets, especially with Bryson Hammer doing what he does on special teams.
They say when you go on the road, you've got to pack the defense, and that's what the Rockets will do this week as they head to Buffalo. They beat the Bulls last year, which actually ended a 3-game losing streak to Buffalo, but this is a Buffalo team that's been a little bit up and down like a lot of the Mid-American Conference has been. They are off last week. They're coming off of a big loss to UConn, but earlier this season, they handed Northern Illinois their loss right after the Huskies beat Notre Dame. Buffalo beat Northern Illinois in overtime.
I mean, it's just what you call action. I mean, anybody can win on any night, and I tell all my friends, you know, when I go watch college football, and they say, well, who's going to win this week? Who's going to win this week? And I'm like, I never know, because these teams, once they line up against each other, they get matched up to a situation where, you know, you got the familiarity, and it almost feels like every game in the MAC is a rivalry, and that's what makes it so special. But going down to Buffalo is not an easy trip. It's going to be very tough for the Rockets, because if they can get their run game waking up, then that's when the Rockets sometimes have problems with Buffalo. But I think we play so well on the edge this year. Safeties coming up and making big tackles. McNeil Warren, one of the best safeties in the country, in my opinion, and he is an X factor for this defense.
And Buffalo, they're winning with their defense. Offensively, they have struggled this year. So this is going to be a type of game where if the Rockets can continue to control that line of scrimmage, that's going to go a long way to winning.
Yeah, you know, running the ball, you know, that's one thing that Jason Candle and his team wants to be able to do, and that's going to be key. They got to be able to run the football and effectively and be good on third down. That's something that we've seen the Rockets kind of go up and down with, as you may say. But when they get in the driver's seat and they're able to hit those big strikes, Tucker Gleason running the ball a little bit, getting to the outside, this is something that I really think that the Rockets can do is get better in the red zone. But Tucker, he finds a way to find his guys, and one person that he always finds is Torres. He is an X factor, and with him blocking on the outside and being able to block and release, that really helps his team out in the run game too.
As we have reached October, you've got a good chunk of the season under your belt. What has impressed you the most about this Rocket team? What concerns you the most about the Rockets?
It's a double-edged sword. It's the same thing. It's the offensive line. You know, what's impressed me and what's kind of scared me at the same time, you know, was what will this young offensive line do? A lot of guys, a lot of moving pieces, injuries, guys banged up in and out of the lineup. You know, they've showed some growth every week. And if you're going to win a MAC championship, you're going to have to do it on the ground. And then as the weeks get colder, your offensive line is the core of your team. And earlier in the season, we didn't know which way they were going to go into, which direction. Now they've gotten so much better at understanding the game plan, not having so many silly turnovers, and I haven't seen many holding calls. That mean they're blocking and they're moving their feet, and that's a salute to Coach Hallett for doing an excellent job for turning that offensive line around in a week.
huge stretch of games for the Toledo Rockets as they travel to Buffalo, then travel to Northern Illinois, and then they're home for Bowling Green. We're going to learn a lot about Toledo over the next few games. I want to thank our guest, Michael Robinson, from the Toledo Rocket Radio Network. Mike Rob, thank you once again.
Thanks for having me, Mark.